Hello guys, this is The-Epiphany. Today I'd like to show you two Kolossium fights with my team, my Osa, Iop, and Inshroth. In these two fights, I'm going to be explaining the disadvantages of being glass cannon, or if not glass cannon, the disadvantages of having low resistances. Now, obviously, everyone starts off like being poor in the game, and their sets might not be good and have high resistances, but I'm going to explain why it's bad if you have low resistances, especially in Colosseum because it is a um, PvP part of the game. Okay, so we just started the fight. We got a fight against an Enaripsa, um, Panda, and Ecaflip. Now, judging from the resistances, the Enaripsa has extremely low resistances. It's also got minus 21 crit resist, which is really bad. Now, from this, you can expect him to be a glass cannon. You guys know what glass cannons are. Yeah, so considering he did 218 damage with Leak Pie, we can assume that he's a glass cannon. Because I have 44% resist of fire and 85 crit resist, and he did 218 on Leak Pie. I'll get... Alright, so just because he can do that much damage does not mean he's it makes up for his low resistance, because an Enaripsa is probably the worst type of character to be a glass cannon, because their spells are at close range, so they have to be like 6 squares and closer to pretty much do major damage. If you want to be a glass cannon, you have to be a Kra. Alright, anyways, back to the fight. The Pandawa, he has he has 0 water resistance and only 16 fire, so that can be an advantage to us since three people in my team can hit fire damage. He's actually pretty weak as well with that tipple. Usually it does like about 300 damage even on my resistances. I'm buffing up with Villarin on turn 1 and gonna prepare for a turn 2 attack. The reason I do this is because the Pandawa goes after Adamanti, and he's in a open position, so I can simply bribe the Pandawa, and then Villarin tries to one turn KO the Enaripsa, which would be extremely easy. Enaripsa has like below 20% resistance and 5% of fire. So the Ecaflip runs in and he puts erosion on my Osa. I don't mind though, because I can just get it unbewitched later on. Now, I'm just buffing up Villarin, and like I said before, we're going to prepare for a turn 2 KO. I decided to summon a white Gobble in order to pull the Enaripsa like closer and then get him locked. That way he cannot run away or like do anything, or maybe like go too far. Yeah, so that's what I do. I pull the Gobble, I pull him with the Gobble, and then I reduce his dodge. Now it's his turn. We'll have to wait and see what he does. He tries to rape AP, however, I wore an AP lost resist trophy. I got 78 resist on Villarin, so he couldn't do anything there. His shield is also a shield that gives range damage but reduces close combat damage, which is why he was pretty weak on the Gobble. He swaps the Edetroth, the Ecaflip to run away. However, that's not a problem for us because I would just use acceleration on Villarin to give her AP. MP, I mean. I also healed my Osa because he was low health, and I will not be able to heal him for the next 2 turns because using bribery means I'm in weakened state, means you can't use a weapon. So this is where resistance really comes into play. Like, I don't even have Sword of Fate buffed, but I can tell you now that the Enaripsa is like dead meat. See, I did 3,000 damage on the sword, 658 on concentration with no crit. This is all because of his resistances being so low. Now the rest of the fight is just easy. I'll play some music for you guys because there's not really anything else to talk about. After this fight will be a second fight, and I'll also explain why having bad resistances in a fight like that would be a disadvantage to your team. Stay tuned. and we're back. I hope you enjoyed that music. It was just music which I got from the ARIA charts and top Billboard of UK and all that stuff. Okay, so the second fight we are facing a Pandawa, Heliotrope, and Anaripsa. And for this fight, the thing that worries me the most is the Pandawa because the Pandawa is specialized in carrying and throwing stuff. Can also lock me with Panda Waster. If the Panda Waster attacks Villarin, Villarin will be weakened and unable to use a weapon. So, similarly to the last fight, we're gonna try and kill whoever has the lowest resistance, and we'll see what happens from there. Um, in this fight, what we have is basically they don't have any erosion, but they have heals. They have a lot of heals because Heliotropes can also heal. Judging from their resistances, Panda has a lot. We are probably going to try and kill the Anaripsa. Yeah, here the Panda has 119 crit resist. The Heliotrope has 124 crit resist as well, and pretty high elemental resistances. It would make sense to try and kill the Anaripsa first because the Anaripsa goes after Villarin. So ideally, I will bribe the Heliotrope with Adamanti, and then we'll try and kill the Anaripsa. Anaripsa is quite fragile. I could even MP raped him pretty easily. He couldn't really. He started in a spot like that, but I guess there was no need for him to start in that spot. He should have started in somewhere that was hidden. The reason I pushed the Heliotrope to the side is that so that he couldn't target Villarin because he seems to be agility from the looks of it, and I have 50% resistance of agility, so if he targets me, then that's nice. Yeah, so he seems to be chance as well. He's a chance and agility Heliotrope. So luckily, I let him target my Osa because I don't want Villarin dead. She's the main damage dealer. I buff up Sword of Fate and prepare for a turn 3 KO on possibly the Anaripsa. Yeah, so the Anaripsa summons a Coney so he gets some AP, unbewitches himself to get rid of the minus range. I'm actually thinking it would be better to bribe the Pandawa. I know that the Pandawa doesn't go it goes right before Adamanti, but if he does not summon a Panda Waster this turn, I'm probably gonna bribe him because the reason for this is that if I don't bribe him, then the following turn he'll summon a Panda Waster or he'll carry someone, and then that'll be annoying for Villarin. The reason I summon 2 Gobbles like that is because is to like lure him. It puts him into a trap so that he will attack all the Gobbles with Melancholy. Yeah, that's what he's doing right now. So he's basically wasted his full turn melancholying the summons, and that prevents him from using Panda Waster. Alright, so so I've decided that this turn I am going to bribe the Pandawa because otherwise next turn he's gonna summon a Panda Waster and it will interfere with Villarin's Geiger Blade. I buff up Villarin with Fortune so that the next turn she'll have some power. I try to kill the Gobble with Shovel Throwing, but of course it has 14 HP remaining. So now the Pandawa is bribed because he is a bigger threat than the Heliotrope. So there was no need to bribe the Heliotrope. I'm not sure what he's doing. I don't think there's any need to deactivate that portal, but we'll have to wait and see. I actually have no idea what he's doing. I think it's gonna return for there. Yeah, he brought the Annie down to make sure that the Annie was safe. Yeah. It was actually a pretty smart move to bring the Eneripsa down. However, he was mistaken because this isn't the turn that I'm going to be trying to KO someone. It's actually the next turn. I give AP Vitality to my Osa because I don't want my Osa to be in risk of dying. Since the Panda is bribed, I can jump in without fearing him doing any damage to me. In this fight, the Eneripsa is not a glass cannon. Her resistances are decent, but they're not the best. Like, she's got like resistances in the 20s, which is alright. Yeah, like Villarin has resistances in the 20s as well, because I had to make some sacrifices for resistances in order to be able to do so much damage. I figured that damage was more appropriate for an IO. And now I'm just gonna buff up my dragon to hit, and we'll see what happens from there. Once again, we got lucky with the fact that in this fight and the previous fight that I showed you guys, that the person with the lowest resistance is the supporter. And by supporter, I mean the healer. So that's the reason, that's actually is an advantage, because normally in fights, you kill the supporter, you have a high chance of winning, because supporters are normally people that can shield, can buff, or can heal, and the Eneripsa fits the description of two of those. So that's why it's best to kill the Eneripsa first. Yeah, so the Panda's passed his turn. Now I use Greed to buff up everyone's power, including Villarin's. I give her MP so she can definitely reach the Eneripsa. I hit the Eneripsa a bit more just to help Villarin out, because she might not be able to kill in one turn. Sometimes I try and like KO, but it doesn't work because the target has like 100 or 200 HP left, because one of my spells didn't crit. That's annoying. So I want to make sure that even if that happens, there's still a chance of killing the Any. The Heliotrope is thinking of what to do. He probably should he's going for Villarin. He should have brought the Any closer or far away this time, but he couldn't because the Any was just right there and there's no way to portal. Yeah, so I just jump in and then I try and KO. Very lucky that the sword crits. Did some decent damage as well. Now I just finish off the usual. Now I've had a few comments in the game asking me why I always use Sword of Fate last. Usually, because let's say Sword of Fate would have done 1,400 damage. It's set on the damage preview. So why shouldn't I just use it like before concentration so I have 2 AP left? Now the reason for that is Sword of Fate does damage twice. Both of them are fire damage. Now the first bit of the damage is calculated by how much int you have and damage, because it's increased from the first one. However, the second bit of the damage is based on the erosion which the enemy has. So the more erosion, by erosion I mean the more like max HP they have lost, the more damage that second part will do. That's why I use concentration last. I use Sword of Fate last, because after the concentrations, that's when the Any's max HP will be the lowest. So like I said with the previous fight, the rest of the fight is actually quite easy. They're trying to kill my IO big time, but I don't let him do that. I'll explain how I counteract this later on. My Enotroph is able to heal now, because I bribed like 2 turns ago. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the fight. I hope you understand that why having low resistances is bad. And I hope that if you guys do plan to do Colosseum, you will do your best to get as much resistance as possible. But by all means, that doesn't mean sacrifice like a lot of damage, because I'd rather you able to do some decent damage as well. Yeah, but don't go into Colosseum if you have such a bad resistance, because either your teammates or your enemies will probably shit talk you. I've seen this happen before. Yeah, so like the previous video, I'm gonna play some music again, which are from the ARIA charts and the top 50 Billboard. And I hope you enjoy the video. See you later.